Episode 31 this week, Mirror Mirror, one of the classic episodes of the original series. Probably my favorite all time of any of the series. Mirror Mirror saw Captain Kirk and his landing party on this planet talking to the Halkans, trying to negotiate for their dilithium crystals. They said no, they didn't want the dilithium to go to any race that would use them to potentially kill even one person in a battle. Kirk said, we'll be back to talk. Then when they were trying to beam up, there was a storm happening. But they decided to beam up anyway, and in the storm, they got sent to a parallel universe. They materialized on the Enterprise, but it wasn't their Enterprise. It was an alternative universe Enterprise. Mr. Spock walking around with a goatee. Lieutenant Tile, hit with the, electrical shock for making a mistake. The landing party was for words. But Captain Kirk made him go along with it for a bit. And then, within seconds, figured out the entire thing. He said we must be in an alternative universe caused by the storm when we were beaming up. How he came up with that, nobody knows, but he did within seconds. Scotty figured he could send them back, but he'd need help. So he decided Dr. McCoy was the best bet. Captain would be too conspicuous, but the chief surgeon, apparently not conspicuous, working on engineering problems. No one explained how or why. The alternative universe had a brutal form of discipline. You moved up in rank by assassinating your crewmates. Captain Kirk apparently had killed Captain Pike in this universe. One of the very few times they acknowledged Captain Pike in the original series. Eventually, Captain Kirk makes it to his quarters and his mistress is there. She shows him this machine that you can apparently use cameras on to view them, push a button and they disintegrate. No idea how that works. The mechanics of it never explained whatsoever, but apparently Captain Kirk used that to get rid of his enemies. They go through a long series of near misses, getting everything to work out so they can recreate the transporter accident so they can go back to their universe. The alternative Spock catches on to what's going on. He almost dies. They save him. And then he tells Captain Kirk he'll think about leading a revolution and changing the evil ways of the Empire. It wasn't the Federation there, it was the Empire. Kirk and his away team make it back to their universe. Everything's fine. The alternative Kirk and his party, barely seen in the episode, apparently were much easier to figure out. Spock figured it all out, knew the exact time that the other crew would be beaming, and it all worked. Timing of that had to be astronomically close. Had to be really precise, and Spock nailed it apparently. Some interesting notes in this one. You had the start of the Mirror Universe in Star Trek. It was brought back in Deep Space Nine for several episodes. Countless books and comics covered it. It was also a focal point of the new Discovery program. So this episode kicked off a whole slew of different Star Trek shows and books with the Mirror Universe in it. Also saw all the regulars. Most of them you saw in two forms. The Mirror Universe and the regular universe. And this episode also saw Mr. Sulu in a completely different role as he was trying to assassinate Captain Kirk, as did Chekhov. So, a little bit a different type of characters for them. We didn't see very much of the Mirror Universe versions of the away team. It was just a really brief scene and then brief mention at the end. So it would have been nice to see what they were doing in the regular universe of the Enterprise, but we didn't get a whole lot of it. Also, we found out that Dr. McCoy, in fact, is not an engineer, he's a doctor. He said so. Although Scotty then told him that now he was an engineer, so I guess that's how engineering worked in the mirror universe. Say, I'm not an engineer, and someone says, well, no, you are and you are, apparently. There's also a scene in this episode that was re-edited and used in an episode of Deep Space Nine when they revisited the Trouble with Tribbles and incorporated Deep Space Nine with the original series. This was kind of the end scene for that episode of Deep Space Nine. I used like a quick snippet of this with the episode Trouble with Tribbles. So pretty much that's episode 31.